Hi, my name is Bear. I do not have Gilly with me today because I believe that I might go pick my partner up from work when I'm done with our little adventure today. Today is the 21st day of Women's History Month, and I've thought long and hard about what I wanted to do for it. And then today I came up with the perfect thing. We're going to go to one of the most haunted places in Virginia, the Exchange Motel in Gordensville, and we're going to learn about and visit Anna the cook. I will tell you all about Anna on the way there. It's a beautiful ride. Stay tuned. The Exchange Hotel was built in 1860. During the Civil War, it became the Gordensville Receiving Hospital. Being at the junction of two railways, it was a prime location to bring wounded soldiers. The hospital treated over 70,000 sick and wounded soldiers during the Civil War. At least 1,000 of those soldiers died in the hospital. It was primarily a Confederate facility, but it treated people from both sides of the war. After the war, it became the Freedmen's Bureau Hospital. In 1865, Congress established the Freedmen's Bureau, and their primary sort of orientation was to provide food, clothing, shelter, medical services, and land to displaced Southerners, and especially recently freed Southerners. It seems that the fine men and women of the South were not wholly prepared to treat recently freed slaves as equal. So the Freedmen's Bureau would oversee and intervene in contracts if the contracts for labor or other sort of contracts were unfair to the freedmen. They would also sort of intervene in court on their behalf and assure that they weren't being mistreated by the court system. The Virginia Assistant Commissioner of the Freedmen's Bureau was a man named Orlando Brown. The superintendent in Gordonsville was Captain T. Frank P. Crandon. He would send reports to Orlando Brown, and in his reports he would describe shootings, beatings, whippings, threats, stabbings, injustices in court, and so forth that were being, they called them outrages. And if you committed outrages against freedmen, then that was where the Freedmen's Bureau came in. In his reports, he says that the freedmen weren't always doing what they were supposed to do, but that he wasn't aware of any outrages committed by the freedmen against sort of the community. So the Exchange Hotel was, one of the things that was very difficult for freedmen to acquire was healthcare and education. A lot of hospitals wouldn't treat ex-slaves, and there wasn't sort of schools for them, and so the Exchange Hotel in Gordonsville took care of those needs. It's really neat. I'll include a link in the description where you can learn more about the Freedmen's Bureau, specifically regarding its operations in Gordonsville. So, let's talk about the ghosts. There seems to be sort of no end to the accounts of paranormal activity at the Exchange Motel. There have been numerous paranormal groups that have gone and done investigations there. There's also the Biography Channel apparently has a show called My Ghost Story. I don't actually really watch much TV. That show had an episode titled The Face in the Window, and in that episode the museum president Tim Burnett and some of the volunteers described their experiences in a hotel of being pushed and hearing footsteps and banging and seeing shadows and so forth. In 2010, RIP Files, which is a paranormal investigation group, did a investigation there that was so successful that they returned for a second investigation. Their founder, Patricia Marin, is quoted as saying, "We experienced being touched by several spirits as well as cold spots, especially in the kitchen building." The group Spirit Search Paranormal Investigations has done over 20 investigations and gathered EVPs and a photo of green mist, which I will show later in this video. Black Raven Paranormal did an investigation. They encountered a shadow person, and they also encountered a ghost named Emma, who's the ghost of a little girl that is apparently frequently photographed, but I haven't found any photographs of her in my searching. There's also apparently a ghost of a little boy that I guess he worked there and didn't appreciate the environment and his treatment there, and he hung himself from an upstairs window. The group NightQuest Paranormal did get took a picture of one of the windows at there's a kitchen building, and there's a face in that window. I'll also show that later. So Anna was, according to colonialghosts.com, was the slave of Margaret Crank, who was the second wife of one of the earlier owners. I cannot find verification for that, but she was a cook apparently, and she's most often seen in the kitchen building, and she's been experienced by various paranormal groups that have gone there. And allegedly she will interact with them. She'll talk to them. Also, paranormal groups will often explain having more paranormal activity in the kitchen than really anywhere else in the hotel, although apparently the whole thing's pretty active. So let's visit and see what happens. There's the backside, which is where you go in. won't let you do any photography or recording inside, which I did not know before I got here. This is the kitchen building. And this is where Anna is sometimes said to be seen. So this is interesting. The picture that I showed you of the window where Anna is said to be seen. I knew that because of a picture I saw online that claims to have been taken and had sort of a face in it. Randomly. And I thought, I don't really see a face. And I went to expand the picture, and right as I was expanding it, part of the picture lit up a little bit and it caught my eye, and then I saw where the face was. And it was only for like a second, and I could not get it to repeat that. I thought maybe it was a trick of like my screen lighting up a little bit or something. It's interesting. It said that when you ask her what she's doing, she says that she cooks fried chicken. She seems to be interested in visitors and what they do. There's a hearth in there. And this building back here is the old freight depot. That looks like it's in pretty good shape. Can't say the same for that little stove though. Quite an impressive tree. One thing that's interesting is almost all of the rooms on the ground floor have their own entrance. That's the entrance into the room that they call the old tavern. Although I don't remember if I saw that door from the inside, but it must be into that room or close, maybe to serve the back room. But there's another door here on the front for that, the main door, and a third door, and the third door goes into the room that I think served as sort of like the train station or train station office or something. And this very grand staircase up to the front main hall. This photo would have been taken right on the other side of that door, and it was taken by Spirit Search Paranormal Investigations. So the Civil War Museum here in Gordensville, I don't really like calling it that. There's nothing really wrong with the Civil War. We get quite a lot of it in this area. In case that comes across wrong, there's quite a bit wrong with the Civil War, and depending on where your particular sympathies about it may lie, might influence exactly what you think is wrong with it. But regardless, I didn't mean to say there's nothing wrong with the Civil War. What I meant is that there's not really anything wrong with studying the Civil War, pursuing it as a topic, or being interested in it, but it's what it is. Some people are just really into Civil War history and go to all the sites and learn all about it. And I'm not one of those people. It's interesting enough, but what really fascinated me about this place was the Freeman stuff. I didn't know about that. There's a whole room upstairs with information on that. I wish I could have taken pictures of it and talked about it more. I'll include what I can when I put this video together. Plenty of information on the internet, and there's a few pictures of the inside that I found on the internet that I'll include in the video. But anyway, what I was going to tell you is that this building sits in close proximity to one of the best barbecue places I've ever been to. It's called the Barbecue Exchange in Gordensville, and I have been smelling barbecue the whole time I've been here. My partner has alpha-gal, which is the tick-borne illness that makes you allergic to mammalian meat products, cheese. So I don't get a lot of barbecue these days. So let's go have lunch. Told you it's close. Fantastic. Apparently this little guy was in trouble for something, so despite his very earnest looking at his owner like that, he didn't get any barbecue. If you've been following my videos, you might have noticed I don't eat out much. I don't even buy coffee when I'm out and make my own. That really was a treat. I was a little disappointed at not being able to film inside of the hotel there, the hotel / Civil War Museum / everything else that's ever been. But good barbecue means a lot of things. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.